All right, so in this video, we're gonna be talking about 5 ways to save money on logistics. So maybe you are somebody who works at the company and you're already outsourcing logistics. Maybe you work at a logistics company, whatever it may be. We're gonna have some really good insights here because we have Laura Croak, who's been at this for, what you said, 15 years? Mm-hmm. All right, so you have a ton of experience in logistics and you know the easiest ways that people tend to save money in this space. So what's your first tip as far as saving money on logistics?
Managing your inventory is the first one. Knowing what you have on hand instead of repeatedly purchasing the same thing over and over again and having your warehouse full. Before you start and you're purchasing more and shipping more in, look at what you have and using some sort of like a time management system, which I think is also a bulletin that I have in there. But using some sort of like time management system just to kind of keep track of the inventory you have on hand and then seeing what you need. Most of the time, those TMS programs, they'll show you basically what you have and then what you're needing. And then sometimes they'll even alert you like, okay, so you need XYZ product and you only have 4 of them. Yeah. So, obviously then purchase more of that instead of, something else.
So it kind of gives you an automated reminder of like, hey, this thing's getting low, or just making sure you're not overstocking everything and then having to deal with that.
Yeah.
Second tip that you have for saving money with logistics.
So the second thing I would do is end of month and on a holiday is probably it is actually one of the worst times to ship. If you're shipping at the end of the month, most warehouses will try to, make their end of month goals, or even like an end of a quarter. I wouldn't ship then either. Okay. A lot of the trucking companies will be very busy. They'll charge you like way more than what you should be spending.
So it's almost like Uber surge pricing, but for trucking freight kind of stuff.
Yeah,
it'll just end of the month.
Yeah, it'll definitely be a higher cost than if you were to ship, October 2nd, 3rd, as opposed to October 31st. Yep. And then also too, you have the quarters, so you don't want to ship at an end of a quarter. Mm-hmm. Fourth quarter is definitely the time where companies are trying to, get as much inventory in or out of their facilities. So it'll always be a much higher cost.
Does it matter what kind of business you're in? Because obviously fourth quarter for something where it's related to holiday sales is super busy. Does it matter what kind of industry or no?
I don't think it matters the type of industry because either way, I know that you need the product for Christmas or, the holidays or whatever. You're just going to have to know that you're going to be eating a lot of those charges and it's definitely going to be higher.
So third tip that you have for saving money on logistics, what do you got?
Don't wait last minute to ship your product out. So same thing with the holiday. Don't wait the last minute. If you know that your product is very, very low and you're going to need it to make something else to send to your end customer, make sure that you have that product on hand because you're going to be ordering it from that other vendor and they're going to charge you either like a fast shipping fee or an expedited shipping fee. They're going to charge you more on the product. I've seen a lot of companies get charged 20% or over $1,000 to expedite their shipment because you're low on manufacturing to your end customer.
Okay,
if
so
that makes sense.
Kind of again timing, making sure most of these so far are around timing, making sure your own inventory is timed well, but then also what time of the month you're doing it and not being last minute, which really doesn't help you for anything in life typically. Right. All right, so I know you got a fourth tip for us as far as saving money. So what do you got?
Avoid using big box companies. Okay. So avoid shipping basically with a big company like a FedEx or having an overnight parcel type shipment. Try to ship it in bulk basically and use a local carrier or a carrier that basically isn't going to charge you an arm and a leg. Search before you just decide, okay, well, FedEx can get it there in 2 days. There's always going to be another carrier that can do it in that time frame. Okay. And obviously, we can help you too.
Yeah. But is that a big piece of what you do? Is you have all these different carriers, so it's almost like a puzzle of hey, we need to get this from here to here. Right. But you can do it efficiently and also at a good price. Correct. Versus somebody's hitting the easy button and getting FedEx, but then you're paying 50% more.
Right. If you went to an Uber Freight and you're just okay, I'm gonna go to Uber Freight or those bigger logistics companies C.H. Robinson's and those big box companies. they're going to charge you a percentage of what the carriers are charging you.
Yeah.
And that's going to really hurt your, your budgets and, how you're going to make your inventory goals and everything else. Because that all matters, like your freight costs and your inventory levels and how you manage all that.
Yep.
That all comes down to, your end of year savings and what the company is growing for and everything else. So
kind of almost like, I don't know why, I get like these weird visualizations. I picture somebody making like a sauce and there's like different ingredients in it, because it's kind of like a little bit of this, and like if you just get it dialed in correctly on these different aspects of what you're talking about, I'm assuming it can really stack up as far as how much somebody's saving.
Right.
You have a fifth point for this too.
Yes.
What's your last tip as far as how to save on your logistics bill?
I kind of mentioned it before. So if you're buying something and knowing your inventory levels and knowing that, it's October 2nd and I need paprika for that sauce, and you're going to be low for it. If you know that you're going to need that in November and you have enough storage space in your warehouse, buy it in larger quantities. So instead of shipping, 1 box here, 1 box here, and paying that overnight, ship it on a pallet instead and have it, routed a little differently. So that way it's buying in bulk or like a wholesale cost mainly, instead of buying, 2 cans because you need it basically for that sauce.
Very cool. I know something that you do as well is like you'll do invoice audits too. Because so maybe somebody's already working with somebody and they might have concerns that they're paying a little bit too much. So there will be a video up on the screen here that is actually one that will take you through on how to actually audit an invoice. And your company does free invoice audits for people as well. So check out that information in the description below. We'll catch you on the next video.